Good evening. Welcome to our June 9th school committee meeting. I am going to start with roll call. Mr. Powers.
Here.
I am here. Mr. Underhill.
Here.
And we have Miss Briggs, who will be coming a little later, and then Miss Staradis will not be here this evening. We also have Superintendent Mullaney. And let's see, where are we? Oh, we have Miss Volpe here. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? I'm just going to read an announcement. Persons wishing to speak during open session must sign in before the meeting starts. Comments are not to exceed 3 minutes in time. Individuals may not name any students. All topics for discussion must be limited to those items within the school committee's scope of authority, and all comments must be directed to the chair. The committee may not respond to public comments. It shall be their decision to discuss issues at a later date. Do we have anyone signed in for public comment? Okay. Why don't we move on to our student representative, Jocelyn? Hi, Jocelyn.
Hi.
Good evening, everyone. I can't believe this is the last time I'll be sitting in front of you this school year. To say it's been busy in the high school is an understatement, and it's really starting to feel empty. So congratulations to the seniors, class of 2026, who graduated on Thursday. The rolling rally and the bonfire the Friday before their graduation marked the end of their senior week. And the day before graduation, they had a banquet at Primavera. And the day of, they walked through the halls of the CFB, middle, and high schools to say goodbye. Everyone is so happy for them, and we wish them luck in their future endeavors. On Friday, the incoming seniors, class of 2027, had a delicious rising senior step-up breakfast, and the same day the spring athletes welcomed the CFB students to school. On that note, all spring sports have wrapped up, and congratulations to our many teams who did make the playoffs. What a wonderful effort they made. Sophomores finished up their research project early last week and presented it in front of many classes, and I have to say it went pretty well. Class elections were held last week, so all grades have new or repeated leadership going into the 2026-2027 school year. On Monday, we had underclassmen awards to honor the academic achievements of the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, and finals are imminent. The official schedule doesn't start until Friday, though many have taken their final projects or taken parts of their finals. It seems stressful, but our teachers have certainly prepared us for it. And that's all I have for you guys tonight. I hope you have a wonderful summer.
Thank you.
You too.
You too, Jocelyn.
So you survived the sophomore project?
Huh?
You survived sophomore
Yes, I
project?
did.
Good job.
Thank you. Have a good summer. Now we have our teacher representative, Ms. Copese.
Jocelyn actually took her immersion experience and her topic was the importance of introducing homogenous communities to cultural diversity at an early age to build empathy and awareness. It was really kind of an interesting one, and she's excited about the World Culture Night because she figures by the time she hits her senior project, it might be time to really bring that into this building. And she's a global scholar, so it kind of all will dovetail nicely.
Seems like it'll fit very nicely.
Yeah, so I do like that about SRP. So sometimes the students are able to sort of not just take the research skills they got, but also literally take the topic they were exploring.
Their passion in
and-
sophomore year.
Yep. I mean, the daffodils were actually a weird offshoot of Jen Scolpanetti's sophomore research project because she looked at why bee colonies are collapsing, and that kind of like led her to the flowers and the planting of plants, and
Wow.
it was kind of fun.
That's
To
ex-
see those come up every year.
It really is. It's gorgeous coming in.
Yes, it's like it makes you smile. And I also like how they kind of come up like in an ombre because the sun doesn't hit them all at the same point. So it's like the peonies in my backyard. All right, so my last one too. On the 23rd, I will be in Florida.
Very
So no, it's not that hot. Trust me. All right, Clyde Brown is having their field day on the 11th. Rain date is Friday the 12th, and they are very excited. They adopted the new model last year where it's not done as an individual, but it's a whole school extravaganza, so the kids are very, very excited about that. On June 16th, we'll have the 5th grade promotion ceremony at 1:30 p.m. We have had multiple concerts happening. So the grade 5 concert was last week on Wednesday evening, and the melodicas were on full display.
Yes, they were.
It was I've never seen one before. I had no idea what they were.
Same. I had never heard of one, and she was describing it to me, and I'm like, "You're blowing into a piano?" But they sounded good.
They sounded great.
Good.
The kids were happy as clams up on that stage, and that's really all we can ask for. And the band, of course, sounded lovely and really polished.
They've come a long way, the band, since the
Yeah,
winter
I mean,
one.
considering that they meet like once a week in the morning, it's amazing to me what Miss Norton is able to get them to do in 9 months' time. It's
Yes.
craziness. The staff and students had a fabulous time with their first ever staff inflatable race on May 29th. This was the reward for the students meeting and even ridiculously exceeding their fun run goal. So the staff dressed up in their inflatables, and it was a sight to behold. We had a preview. Mr. Poulos came down here to practice the morning before, so he and Sylvie were like walking the hallways. It was a little disconcerting at first, and then it was all good. So again, a big shout out to the Home School Association for helping coordinate it. At the middle school, the incoming 6th graders had their building tours last week, and a big shout out to the 8th graders who then went to the elementary school classrooms to answer their burning middle school questions that they were going to have. 8th graders also had a lovely field trip to Boston where they got a first-hand look at democracy by visiting the State House and speaking with the government leaders, followed by a fantastic city tour and a Red Sox game. The grade 8 promotion ceremony is from 10 to 11 a.m. in the auditorium, and there'll be a dance that evening. And then on June 16th, so that's June 16th, and also on June 16th will be the grade 7 field day. At the high school, as Jocelyn mentioned, we had underclassmen awards on Monday. Last week we had graduation, so we had 62 graduates joined by the class of 1976 celebrating their 50th anniversary. Lovely performances by the band and chorus. We had graduation addresses by class presidents Mia Vasta and Nicoletta Corionis. Class speaker was Riley Sylvia, and then we had salutatorian Mia Young and Terrence Streck to provide their insights as well. My elementary science class did a little data collecting. We taught 64 lessons across grades K to 5. There are only 2 classrooms we did not get into or work with over at the Clyde Brown. And as my students have been doing their final reporting out and their reflections, which is basically I had them do a mini version of my science methods project when I went to graduate school, what has been most fascinating is all of the non-tangibles that they have hit on and talked about and identified. And most of them really just spoke about the fact that they discovered they were capable of more than they thought they were.
Oh.
And that was really, really nice. And coming out of the 2 sections, we've identified about 8 children who want to go into elementary science.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and of those 8, only 2 came in thinking it. So we have 6 potential elementary school teachers coming out of it.
Wow.
And then we have a couple of high school teachers too thinking, a couple of kids feel like, I don't necessarily want to do elementary, but high school might be something that I want to do at this point. So,
We need teachers.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
sure
do, especially
do.
as the bubble is starting to, I mean, the 1990s hire everybody again is about to retire across the board. So that is what I have for this evening. Any questions as we get ready for summer?
No, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope you have a wonderful summer.
Up to date all year.
Yes, we appreciate it.
I'm sure you know most of what I share, but it's just kind of fun, so
No, it's great. I appreciate it.
enjoy your evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You too. Okay, so we are going to move on to action items. The first one, I will take a motion to approve the May 26th meeting minutes.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underhill?
I move that the committee approve the meeting minutes from 5/26/2026 as written.
I will second it.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and the motion carries. Just make sure that was me. Let's see, the next one is a consideration to approve the school committee meeting dates for July and August. So we are looking at doing one a month, is that correct for July and August? And virtual. So, our last meeting of the school year is the 23rd. Do we want to meet anyone available the week of, do we want to do the 21st or the 14th
July?
of July? Like, just kind of split the,
I will make every effort. I am taking a summer class for 3 weeks.
Okay.
So I'll be getting out at 6:30, so it depends how fast I can get back from Cambridge.
okay,
I should be able to make it, but I
Sure.
don't want to guarantee, because we all know what Boston traffic can be
sure.
like.
Can we maybe move this item
for-
down so Robin's here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that would be a good idea, just to hold off. I know she'll be at camp, but still, I'd like to have some of her input. So we'll circle back to this item. Let's see, so the next item would be a consideration to appoint 2 signers for bills over the summer months. This takes a nomination, I believe, of 2 members, and then we vote, correct? And I know Peter and I had previously discussed that we would be willing. So would you like to make the motion?
I will, Madam Chair.
Mr. Powers.
I'll make a motion that we to nominate yourself and Mr. Underhill as the 2 summer signers.
And can we add to that motion, a motion to have the 3 remaining members as alternates?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. So I'll start it over again. So a motion to nominate Mr. Underhill and Ms. Canistrai as the 2 summer signers, with the other 3 members as backup signers as needed.
Okay.
Second?
Okay, the motion has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Underhill.
You as well.
Another plum job.
Yeah.
After June, I'm not going anywhere, so.
Okay, so the next item is a consideration to approve fee waivers for Millis Pride Basketball Summer Camp and for AAU Basketball Metro West Pride in the fall of 2026.
And this is a request that we get annually. It's Dave Fallon runs the Pride and the AAU Pride. The majority of the students are from Millis, and in addition to keeping registration fees low for those teams and the camp, they also use some of the proceeds to donate to our basketball program. So, kind of a win-win.
Okay.
So this is the Pride basketball camp that's an annual one.
Yeah.
Have we done? Are we looking at these as separate with the Pride and the AAU? Seems I don't remember that one from before.
It's the same, it's Pride. There are some students who are not Millis students, but the majority are Millis students. So I don't know if we've done them
Oh.
combined, but we have waived for both.
Okay. Fine with me.
So, Madam Chair,
Mr. Underhill?
I move that the school committee, approve fee waivers for Millis Pride Basketball Summer Camp and for AAU Basketball Metro West Pride in the fall of 2026.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and the motion carries. Okay. Looks like, I don't know,
I mean, we can
circle back.
Yeah.
At this time, we are going to pause on the 4th action item. Ms. Briggs will be joining us, and we do need her input to decide those July and August dates. So we will move on to time and learning.
And we don't have anything for time and learning for this tonight's meeting.
Okay, great. And now we can move on to the chair report. Let's see. Mr. Mulaney and I were on the public forum virtual call that was held yesterday, where Fontaine Construction introduced design updates and phasing schedules for the project. I'm not sure how many people were in attendance. Do you have any idea?
We had 30 viewers.
Okay.
Some of those viewers were also members of the school building committee and Vertex and so on and so forth. But the meeting is recorded. It's on our YouTube channel. So if people weren't able to attend, they can connect to that recording.
Great. And Mr. Mulaney, during the call, it was really helpful. He actually spoke up and kind of clarified the overall schedule for the project. So March 2027, the shovels go into the ground, and construction will begin on the new middle school wing and gymnasium. That construction will continue through the 2027-2028 school year. So in fall of 2028, the new middle school addition opens for use at the start of that school year, and the middle school students will move into that space. The high school will move to some vacated rooms in the 1966 wing, which is over there. on
The far wing.
Okay, and then renovation of the high school will go on until about February of 2029. Fontaine was hopeful that March 2029, the high school students will move and the staff will move into the renovated facility. And then during summer of 2029, that 1966 wing will be taken down and the site will be finished for like landscaping and everything, and for a full completion date of fall of 2029. I thought that was very helpful.
Yeah, with all the timelines and everything.
Yes.
Phasing. Yeah. So they're hopeful for March of '29 to move the high school into the renovated, but they're also creating some buffer space where it could be the start of the 29-30 school year where the high school moves.
Hard to predict that far out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then now we have the superintendent report.
Okay, and if you don't mind, I'll go a little bit out of order.
Sure.
If we want Shalene to come up and give us a financial update, and we'll, for our next meeting, the June 23rd meeting, we'll have hopefully the final financial update where we'll be presenting budget transfers for the approval of the committee.
Okay.
Hopefully there won't be many. Okay, so I'm here to give you the financial update. The district is projected to have a budget deficit of just approximately $50,000. While an overage requires close monitoring, $50,000 really only represents less than 1% of our overall budget. So it's a very good position. To ensure we balance our budget, we implemented a spending freeze back in mid-March. And in addition to the freeze, we have positive balances in several of our revolving accounts, and we're able to utilize grants and circuit breaker funding to ensure the district remains in a stable overall financial position. As far as salaries go, we're projected to finish within budget. To date, the district has expended 78.06% of the salary budget compared to last year's 79.45%. As far as the teachers go, the final payroll for teachers is scheduled for June 17th, where they'll receive their lump sum payment, the 5 leftover pay periods. Those 5 pay periods represent 23.65% of the whole year's budget.
Okay.
So it's a big spend out. Custodial salaries are tracking slightly higher than in FY25. However, these additional costs are being offset through savings in other personnel accounts, such as bus drivers and van drivers. They're much lower than they were in FY25 due to some ongoing recruitment and retention challenges that we've spoke about before. So that left us with some budgeted positions unfilled. Grant funding. Outside the operating budget, grant funding provides critical support to our districts, as we know. They have directly absorbed $1,338,396 in operational costs this year. So from a salary perspective, that makes up $531,448 that come from the SOA grant, title grants, IDEA, and also a health services grant that helps pay for some of our nursing. So those grants do help us incredibly. However, we have to keep in mind that these grants are not automatic. We have to apply for them, and some of them we get, but we don't have a say in how much we're going to get. And one we're not getting next year. So we're lucky to have what we got. Tuitions, as far as grants go, we have circuit breaker money and a couple other grants that we use for supplies and material that made up for $745,913 that we didn't have to use out of our budget. We, in addition, got out of district transportation circuit breaker. It was a supplemental funding that we won't have next year, but it was $110,000. So needless to say, if we didn't have these, we would be in not as good financial shape. I do want to take a second to just recognize that Neely Urquhart and Maureen Knowlton are the two people that work on these grants, and they have worked very hard to identify available funding, understand how the funds could be used, and apply them strategically to support district operations. Their efforts ensure that the district took advantage of every available opportunity while remaining within the requirement of each grant. So just wanted to say that.
We
Without these
appreciate
grant-funded expenditures, the district would have faced a much more difficult financial position.
Ms. Volpe, can I ask?
Yes.
Do they ever find that there's grants out there that they could apply for, they don't have the staff, they need help to be able to, have people filling
apply for
everything,
the grant.
filling out the paperwork and
Yeah,
stuff?
we haven't really encountered
Okay.
that. One thing, like just today, Anna Hurley, who is assuming the role of curriculum director, she was at a grant writing workshop
Okay.
to hopefully see what else is out there. So
Great.
we're always kind of beating the bushes to see if there's money out there.
And for the out-of-district transportation, we won't have that grant next year, you were saying?
So that was a supplemental funding that came from Circuit Breaker.
Okay.
And it's not guaranteed.
Okay.
So Bob could probably explain.
Yeah,
that.
so that $110,000 came from the surplus of the millionaire's tax last
Okay.
year. So right now, the FY26 millionaire's tax is, I think, $1.6 billion more than they anticipated.
Okay.
That the millionaire's tax, excuse me, can only be expended on transportation and education. In education, so for transportation, like the MBTA, Department of Transportation, things like that. For education, it can be early childhood, it can be K to 12, and it can be higher ed.
Okay.
So it looks like in early projections, K to 12 education is getting less money than it did last year. So something like this $110,000 we got, I wouldn't count on
Sure.
bailing this out. But we might get something.
Sure. Okay.
Something is better than nothing.
Yes.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I just, wanted to point out that, and it's not probably obvious, but I was going to say, obviously, when there are opportunities, I'm sure the staff is looking at every possible.
Right. And a lot of
Grant.
grants, you use the expenditures to supplement what you're doing, not to supplant. So it doesn't necessarily replace. So for example, that SOA grant, it was for $100,000 to supplement what we did. That's why we were able to use it to hire 2 teachers last year. Those teachers weren't in our budget. It wasn't like we said, oh, we'll use this $100,000 and pay 2 teachers.
Sure.
It was we added 2 teachers.
Okay.
We supplemented.
Okay. So on to expenses and operations. So we are tracking those very closely, and they are very comparable to last year. So we're at 86.35% of our general budget to date. Last fiscal year at this time, we were 86.27%. So despite tracking and doing well, as we've spoken before, there's two specific areas that we have experienced budget pressure. One is utilities. The expenditures are significantly higher than last fiscal year, and it's creating a notable impact on our overall budget. For example, the heating of the building, we increased our spending by 36% than previous year. And our electricity by 22.16% than last year. So it's significant.
So, would you say that a lot of it comes due to the age of this building, or due to what's going on in the world?
It's a very good question. John looked over at a lot of the bills, and it appears that it's driven primarily by higher utility rates as opposed to increased usage.
Okay.
You may have experienced it at home as well.
Yep.
So just because the building is so big that it's just a bigger cost,
Sure.
but the usage is really staying the same.
Okay.
Yep. And the other thing that we are always watching for is out-of-district transportation. We've had a difficult year. The costs have risen sharply due to the shortage that we have of van drivers. And we have found it that obviously we have to use outside vendors. So the district spent $240,640 in out-of-district transportation versus $151,736 in FY25. We were lucky we had that money that we just talked about. But I am excited to tell you that we are collaborating with neighborhood districts. We're currently working alongside with the Medway Public Schools
Great.
to share routes and collectively bid out to outside vendors
Okay.
to secure better rates. So we expect to combine 3 to 4 routes for the summer, and we hope to receive competitive bids for the other routes that we can not fill with our own drivers.
Okay.
So that's good news. And
That's
so,
really good news.
yeah, and the business manager from Medway is very excited about expanding the collaboration model into other neighboring towns to maximize our purchasing power. So we're all in the same boat. So we're trying to make our own little conglomerate.
Yes. It's important for residents to understand that we are making an effort to lower costs, and by going with other towns who do face the same out-of-district transportation costs due to not being able to hire anyone,
Yeah.
we're trying our best to.
Right. We want to get that money back into the classrooms
Yes.
as opposed to, revolving funds, lastly, the transportation revolving fund is currently the only one that is carrying a negative balance. However, the health of this account is definitely improving. The May balance was under by 71,000. Just last week, it was under by 55,000, and we just deposited more money. So as of today, it's around negative 35,000. So we talked about this being kind of a cyclical thing where the revenue is generated right now from the early registration. So that's going to help us. But we will have a deficit at the end of the year, and we'll have to do a transfer.
Okay.
But that early registration and that little bit of extra money, it'll be far less.
Okay.
So we're in a positive upward trend. And so we'll just end up doing one transfer, and then next year we're going to be a little bit more purposeful with what we're offsetting in our general budget. I think we were a little aggressive in what we chose to pay out of the salaries. So the goal is right now 0, right? We want to use what we
Sure.
get. So I don't want to have to do a transfer next year. I want to be strategic about it,
Okay.
what we choose. So although I'm predicting a budget deficit of 50,000, the budget will be balanced by way of controlled spending, grant support, circuit breaker funding, and improved revolving fund activity.
Thank you.
Any
Ms.
other
Mulvey. I
questions?
appreciate all the work that you're doing
Yes.
on
No,
this.
no,
Very
it's
much.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and then for me, I have our enrollment report for as of June 1st. So this will be the final enrollment report of the 25-26 school year. And we have Clyde Brown at 597 students, Millis Middle at 289, the high school at 283, ties at 2, and out of district at 23. So we are, compared to May 1st, we're down one student in the district, but we're up one choice student. So we'll get a very small amount of money, a month's worth of a choice student. We do have a few out-of-district students who are graduating, so that number could go down for September, but we also might have students moving in
Right.
or students in lower grades who are referred. But I don't anticipate any huge swing in the out-of-district placements for the beginning of the 26-27 school year.
Thank you.
And then the middle school principal search update. We've gone through 2 rounds of interviews, and we have 2 finalists who will be visiting the middle school tomorrow, and one will visit tomorrow, the other will visit on Thursday, and on Thursday night we'll have a community forum online from 6:30 to 7:30 to meet the candidates. The candidates are Ron Taylor, who's currently assistant principal at Adams Middle School in Holliston, and Christine Martellio, who's assistant principal at Grafton Middle School. So there'll be, Christine Martellio is visiting tomorrow, and she'll have the opportunity to kind of see the school in action, meet with Anna so Anna can answer any questions she might have, and kind of tour the building, and then have an opportunity after school to meet with staff, and staff will be able to provide feedback. Same schedule on Thursday for Ron Taylor, and then on Thursday night from 6:30 to 7, Ron Taylor will be on the virtual forum moderated by Maureen Knowlton, and then from 7 to 7:30, Christine Martellio. And community members who take part in the forum will be given the opportunity to provide feedback as well. So it's tight, but we're still on track to have an announcement early next week, hopefully before the kids go for the summer.
Okay.
And where would people be able to see that online forum?
So that forum will be, the link has been sent out, right, Dave? And it's, I think, I'm not sure if we've done it yet, but we'll put the kind of the window on that you have to click to get out of before you get to our website, so people
Thank you.
will have access. Thank you. We have the tech, in the packets, we have the tech collaborative 4th quarter update. And then I have the, let's see, and I have the report on the strategic plan priorities for 25-26 and the superintendent's goals. So I'll call that up now. Hopefully that comes up. Okay. Okay, so I have the update on the strategic plan priorities and the superintendent's goals. And just to start us off, I know it goes against slide presentations 101. You're not supposed to read everything on the slide, but for the first few, I'm going to do that because it kind of grounds us and centers us around around, the purpose of the school and our mission. So our mission is Millis Public Schools community is firmly committed to developing all students as independent, lifelong learners and leaders who will contribute to a diverse and changing society. Our vision is that we will empower all students to think critically, communicate effectively, work collaboratively as individuals of integrity, compassion, and respect. And our theory of action, if we honor each student as an individual learner, recognizing that students have their own learning styles, interests, identities, passions, challenges to learning, strengths, and skill levels. If we engage, support, and challenge all students through varied and culturally inclusive instructional approaches that help students take ownership of their learning and foster their social and emotional growth. If we afford students voice, choice, and flexibility in how they learn and allow students to demonstrate their understanding in various ways, then our students will become those independent, lifelong learners and leaders who will positively contribute to a diverse and ever-changing society. So that's, our mission and our theory of action on which our strategic plan is based. And you may recall back in October, we extended the strategic plan overarching goals to go from 2026 to 2028. The committee approved the priority action steps, which included the focus areas for 25-26, and those are the areas that in the presentation, the slideshow, I'll focus on some of those highlights. And feel free to ask any questions as we're going along, or if you want to save them to the end, whatever works for you. But our action steps our goals are ensure rigorous and relevant learning, foster outstanding professional practice, provide a healthy and supportive school environment, and maximize our resources and physical plant. So, some of the highlights for our first goal, ensure rigorous and relevant learning. You may recall in the past few years we've been focusing on literacy, particularly at the Clyde Brown. This year we began our focus on math, and we had a math curriculum working group who did quite a bit of analysis, collection and analysis of data about what's happening in the classrooms, instructional strategies, materials we're using, things of that nature, to really start to look at our math curriculum. Grades 9 to 12, you may recall, over the last 5 years, kind of phased in curriculum that addressed the state math standards. Other highlights for rigorous and relevant learning included the digital portfolios developed in the class of 2028 and 29. Those were in relation to the vision of the graduate. The 8th grade started paper portfolios to get them ready as they move on to high school and that vision of a graduate. One of the important things that we believe is very powerful in learning is self-reflection. At the middle school level, the student-led conferences really give students an opportunity to think about their learning and what they feel are examples of their best work, are examples of things that are important that they've learned. So those have been a great success, and we extended them to spring conferences as well this year.
Mr. Mullaney,
Yes.
can I ask a question about that? How was the feedback from the parents about the student-led?
It's overwhelmingly positive.
Great.
I think parents really appreciate having their kids talk about what they're learning and why they think it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly among some middle school parents who say, "What'd you do in school today?" When kids get home and they say nothing. So this gives them more of an insight. So it has been almost universally positive. Even the kids, in their quiet moments will to say they kind of like it.
That's great.
And I don't know if, Mr. Powers, have you been to?
Yeah. She was the first time we did it. It was strange. Like,
Yeah.
Admittedly, especially myself as a teacher who's used to the standard. I talk to the parent, the kids didn't know where
Right,
to turn,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, great.
But it was getting through it. It felt so much better afterwards. Like it was a much more positive. The anticipation of it was a little bit unnerving, I think.
Right,
Once
right.
doing it the first time,
Yeah,
it was much
yeah.
more. I thought it was a really nice way to do it.
Yeah, and I think it's been refined. It's going to continue to be refined, and to me, it's almost like when we first started doing senior projects when it was new, and now it's a part of the curriculum. New courses at the high school. We just talked about Ms. Copice's class, which has been a huge success. Great numbers about kids thinking of entering education. And we had an oceanography class. We had a number of new classes that really spoke to the kids' interests. Some of the project-based learning over at Clyde Brown. We had the fifth grade wax museum a couple of weeks ago. They're working with butterflies in the fourth grade. So there's all kinds of project-based and real-world learning experiences going on. For outstanding professional practice, again, we had PD on the K-8 math entrance and exit standards, working on aligning grade levels vertically, using data meetings and so forth. And one of the things that we just started this year was we've contracted with Open Architects, that a platform that synthesizes all kinds of data, takes it right from PowerSchool, takes it from IXL, takes it from STAR, saves our staff hours of time compiling and putting data into spreadsheets. So we're looking forward to that. We're just onboarding with that right now, but that's going to be a very positive impact on being able to utilize data to inform curriculum and instruction. We've obviously used our professional development time. We've had curriculum mapping, artificial intelligence. We had Mrs. Monahan, Ms. Cantareggi, and Mrs. Hurley went to Denver and presented at the National Council of Teachers of English. Fantastic example of, our staff really wanting to grow and wanting to share. And then as a result of our contract negotiations with the Teachers Association last year, some professional development time has been specifically set aside so that teachers may pursue personalized professional development, for example, getting PDPs in their content area, kind of tailoring it to their specific needs. And then healthy and supportive school environment. We work very closely with the police and fire department. And I was mentioning before the meeting how the fire department was here this morning, helping the middle school students with their Barbie on a Bungee project. Kids were going up the ladder truck, hooked in with a fireman at their side to drop their Barbie and see how close she came to the ground. It was really cool. But again, we have a fantastic relationship with the police and fire in town. Social emotional screenings, just creating this culture of inclusion and belonging. No Place for Hate has been implemented in the middle school. I'm going to be attending a workshop in the summer to see how we might, move that out to the high school, move it down to Clyde Brown, looking into that. the idea of restorative justice, working with the town social worker, working with, people in town to make sure all our kids and their families feel safe, supported, and welcome. And some of the pictures here are from the culture night at Clyde Brown a few weeks ago. Just a fantastic night. And then maximizing our resources. Fortunately, budgets in 26 and 27, we didn't have to make any staff cuts. We worked hard to try and figure out ways to not have to eliminate positions. We're working with the town as the Human Resources Department is being formed, and the superintendent's executive assistant, Sue Sani, is going to take the position of schools HR generalist. She does a lot of these tasks anyhow, kind of outside of her job description, so we're excited about that. And as Shalene was discussing, our use of grant and revolving funds to help us with our operational budget. She mentioned the SOA grant. We were only one of 10 districts in the state to be awarded $100,000 for the Student Opportunity Act evidence-based practices grant. We secured a grant to train interpreters to help with our growing multilingual learners population. Ryan Kamiri was able to secure a cybersecurity grant to try and keep staff trained on things to look out for with phishing schemes and all those types of things. And they send out phishing emails and keep track of who clicked on the link, and but it's been very helpful. And we were able to, through the state, get high dosage virtual reading tutoring at Clyde Brown. We received an earmark of $20,000 for Spanish curriculum this past year. The HSA and Merit have been so helpful to help us maximize what we're able to do. And of course, I think the big one is the passage of the middle high school building project. Fantastic news for the school and for the town, I think. And then my goals, the superintendent's goals, what the DESE requires is district improvement goals. Those are the priorities, the action steps for 25, 26 that we just went through. And then I'm also required to have a student learning goal and a professional practice goal. The student learning goal aligned with looking at our math curriculum, so the K-8 math curriculum. And we formed the K-8 working group, which looked at the strengths and weaknesses in data. It looked at classroom instruction and the consistency of it across the grade levels. Looked at the materials we were using, and looked at areas where we might need some professional development. And the K-8 group looked at a lot of different data. They looked at the Tier 1, which is whole class, what's being taught, what strategies are used, what instructional materials are we using. We looked at Tier 2, which can either be a pull-out model or a push-in model, where students who are not operating at grade level get supports intended to bring them up to grade level. This is Tier 2 is an area where, we really suffered a loss when we had those cuts a couple years ago. So looking at that and how we can adjust our Tier 2 instruction, and then our Tier 3 is special education. So we looked at those instructional strategies, classroom practices, and instructional materials. They reviewed all kinds of data, STAR and MCAS, and with the goal of keeping us focused the way we were with literacy as we move forward. And one of the things we're hopeful for this year is we applied for a $65,000 state earmark for next year for math curriculum, kind of like what we did with the Spanish curriculum. If we get that, we will be able to look at maybe purchasing materials and things like that. If we don't get it, we're still going to focus on math. It won't be as accelerated. We won't have as many resources.
Okay.
And then my professional practice goal was, again, to try and keep up with artificial intelligence, which is impossible to do because it changes by the minute. But I took an AI literacy course through the DESE, attended the workshops at the Paul J. Andrews Executive Institute. Tri-county superintendents, the area superintendents have a roundtable. AI is an important element to that. And then a smaller group, the tech districts, we are also working on the progression of AI, the ways that it can be used positively, and the concerns. So it's the biggest revolution in education, probably since you could start Googling something. So those were that was my professional practice goal. So I'd like to thank you for a great 25-26. And this was, Stephanie mentioned the inflatables. Those are the Clyde Brown inflatables after their day of racing. But, again, it just, again, what the staff will do for kids is just amazing.
My daughter was offended the frog didn't win.
My daughter got to be one of the people who held the ribbon when they crossed through. She had a blast with that.
Oh, the costume. It's so funny.
Them trying to run.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
So I don't know if there are any questions or.
No? I think this is great.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that update.
Okay, and that's it for the superintendent's report.
Okay.
And I just had a couple of new business things.
Okay. Did you? Oh, okay.
I want to preface this by saying this is very preliminary, so please, I hope anyone watching takes it in that spirit. Mike Gazinski, the town administrator, called me last week and talked about the possibility of coming up with a committee to kind of look at the maintenance of the fields in town and in the schools, with the idea of perhaps combining and consolidating those services under one department. Kind of like what we did with the custodial responsibilities in town buildings, town hall, the firehouse, and the police station came under the auspices of the Millis Public Schools. This could be kind of like going the other way, like the groundskeeper from Millis Public Schools becoming part of the DPW and the DPW taking control of all the fields, or the creation of a parks department that would be in charge of all the fields. It's really just kind of exploratory at this point. So, there's more to come on that. And I don't know about, the makeup of the committee or anything like that, but we'll keep everyone informed.
And just to clarify to anyone who is listening that this field maintenance study is only regarding our current fields. This is not about any work future work done to the fields to make them different or anything like that. This is just about the fields that we have right now and whether or not our field crew works for the Millis Public Schools or for the Millis DPW. And it's in very early stages, but we just want to clarify, it does not mean anything about new fields or anything like that. Just care for what we have now.
And just to comment with some concern, from my time on the Finance Committee, I know there are a lot of handshake agreements, pre-existing agreements, because you control the funding of the fields and the maintenance of the fields. You control the usage of the fields. So that needs to be part and parcel of this discussion, is the priority, but also making sure that this agreement for the usage of the fields encompasses all of that. And either voids out any previous standing agreements and working with the existing structure, because that could be a challenge.
Okay.
And I think it is important that, you know, the schools have a seat at the table, because, you know, if we're supposed to have a game today and it's rained out and it's tomorrow, we need the fields lined tomorrow.
Right.
Not today with it because it was on the schedule. So
Right.
those are the types of things that will be discussed.
Yes.
And my other piece of new business, former business manager Terry Wiggin, who passed away last month, his wife reached out to us to ask about the possibility of holding a memorial service for Terry at the Clyde Brown the atrium there at the entrance on August 8th from 10 to 12. And she would also like to donate a bench with a plaque that could be put somewhere on the Clyde Brown campus. Terry was very connected with the building of Clyde Brown. He came to the district as it was in process, and he immediately was able to lend his expertise. So it was a special place for him. And so she'd like to donate that bench with a plaque. So I can, you know, when we get more details on that, I can bring it to the committee. A donation like that would require the committee's approval. The building is available August 8th. I would propose that the committee approve the use of that space on August 8th with no room charge. Art Johnson, the head of our custodians, has also generously said, you know, they would waive their custodial fees on that day. So, very nice gesture.
Need a motion on
Yes,
that?
please.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underhill?
I move that the school committee approve the use of the Clyde Brown atrium on August 8th for the memorial service of Terry Wiggin and waive all associated fees.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Oh, wait, sorry, the motion has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Motion
Thank you.
carries.
Thank you. I'll be
Yes.
in touch with
Yes.
her. She was, but you know, it'll be a nice ceremony. She came by last week and took a look, and so she has some good ideas. And she's a former pastor, so you know, this type of thing, she's very adept at organizing it.
Please keep us posted on
Yes.
Yeah.
the plans for it. Thank you.
And I think, you know, if you wanted to table the meetings over the summer, we could
Okay,
probably do that.
on the 23rd. Okay, great. So we will hold off on that one action item until we have more members present where we can discuss what dates work best for the July and August meetings. And I think that brings us to the conclusion of our meeting, but we are moving into executive session to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, superintendent, and then to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, as for transportation and food service.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underhill?
I move that the school committee move to executive session, not to return, for the reasons just stated.
Okay, the motion has been moved and seconded, and this is a roll call vote. Mr. Powers?
Yes.
I am an aye. Mr. Underhill?
Aye.
Okay, and the motion carries.
All right.
And we have, let's see, only announcement that I have is for our future meeting date, which is June 23rd, which may be, most likely will be virtual. So we will make sure that when the agenda is posted, that the link to watch will be available. And that is it. Thank you and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.